We live in a world where we spend $250 billion on the fast food industry every year. Yet at that same time, just under 1 billion people go hungry every day. We live in a world where we spend $390 billion on the diet industry, possibly due to the fact we're all too fat from the first statistic. Yet at that same time, 22,000 people die every day of starvation. We spend $50 billion on a concept as ridiculous as bottled water. Yet at that same time, 743 million people do not have access to safe water. Something needs to change. Now, the idea of change has a lot of mixed feelings and emotions and perceptions to all of us. It's interesting how we love the idea of change. Yeah, let's go change the world. Let's change this. I want to see a change happen there. And us as women especially love to make a change. But it's also interesting how often we're too comfortable to get unsettled enough to actually do something to make a change. We often don't like the process that change demands. The thing is, though, can I just have a show of hands in this room right now? If in this place that you think the bottled water industry is just a little bit silly. I'm putting my hand up for this first one. Like, hello, we can drink water for free from the tap. Can I have another show of hands in this room, though, if you have ever bought a bottle of water? We're all putting our hands up again. So even though we think the idea is silly, we still buy it because we love the convenience of it. We don't carry our taps with us around in our handbags, and we like an alternative to drinks with sugar and other things in it. Now, my last question is, can you put up your hand if in this place you have ever directly funded a water project in a developing country? Great, so there's a couple of people in this room, and that is awesome. Thing is even though we haven't been able to, we can buy water every single day. We have that option. And by doing Thankyou Water, we're providing that option for you to be able to give in your everyday life. We're not all able to sign up to a $40 commitment. It's not on the top of our head to give all the time. Those beginning stats that I introed with, they seem huge. They seem massive. And we can look at them and go, it's too much. It's just too big. I'd rather just look at the issues in my own little world right now and not have to just turn a blind eye to that. The thing is, though, in order for us to see change, we usually have to do something. When I was growing up, I used to talk to my dad. I used to go to my dad for advice. And I remember going to him when I was younger, and I'd come home from school being upset about either my school grades or friendship issues or health issues. And on a couple of occasions, as most teenage girls do, I would just let it all out. I'd be like, and my dad, as every good man should do, just listened. And after I had gotten out everything that I needed to get out, he eyeballed me as if to say, this is important. And he said this one phrase. He said, Justine, no change, no change. Now, to be honest with you, I probably didn't get it back then. I probably just continued my little pity party down the hallway. No change, no change. What does that even mean? No one ever listens to me. Like, we all relate here. But those few words that he said came to mean so much to me over my life. He was saying, Justine, unless you are going to make a change in your life now, nothing in this situation that you keep going on about is going to change. And I think that that's what we do here. We can get so overwhelmed. We all want to see changes in our personal lives or in the greater world. But we actually are too comfortable to get unsettled enough to actually do something to see that change come about. I shared with you about what we did with Thankyou Water, how we're providing that opportunity for the everyday Australian. We're empowering the everyday Australian to be able to give, to empower others to live. And it's amazing the difference that water makes. I had the opportunity to go into a village that we had been funding water solutions in Cambodia. And I had an amazing opportunity to talk with this family. And I said to them, what is it like for you now that you have safe water? They said, we're no longer sick anymore. And I thought, this is great. This is awesome. See, the thing is, that's the extent that I thought it was all about. They don't have to drink water from a gutter, and they don't have to live with the parasites and diseases with dirty water. But it was so much more than this. And the next question I asked changed my life. It showed me beyond what I had already known about water and the ability that it has to empower people out of poverty. The next question I said was, now what can you do that you're no longer sick? They said, well, the expenses that we used to pay on medical expenses, that money we invested into buy this motorized plough. I was blown away. The little money they had tied up in keeping them alive, they were able to invest into their business, which then generated more income for their family, beginning that flow-on effect of lifting them out of poverty. I said, tell me more. What else can you do? They said, well, our children, they're no longer sick anymore. They used to just lie around the house and they were too sick to play, too sick to go to school. Now they can do these things and they can live as children should live. Can you imagine? Have you ever thought that water, the thing that we take for granted from the tap, has the ability to give a young person an education, a career, a future, a hope? Now, water is just one of the many issues in this world, one of the many things that needs to be changed. And we all have things in this room. We're all here because we have an idea worth sharing and an idea that we want to see changed. The thing is, in order to see this change come about, we generally have to sacrifice. The idea of sacrifice is a really big thing for me and my team. When we started, my husband at 19 years old shared with us the world water crisis facts and the bottled water industry facts. And we were outraged. We were like, we have to do something. So we thought, well, let's start a bottled water company. So we did. We started this bottled water company where all of our profit funds water projects in developing countries. Instead of the profits going to make someone else's houses bigger or their cars better, it's actually going to those people who need it the most. The profit from each bottle is enough to provide someone with water for a month. And every single bottle we have now has a unique code on it so you can track exactly what project you are funding. When we started out, we were told we needed $250,000 just to run our first run of production. We also needed all the other expenses. We're told we're too young. We're told we didn't know what we were doing. We're told we should finish our uni degrees. But we believed in this idea so much. So we overcome all the odds that were against us. And we were determined to push through. I can still remember, and we had so many, oh my goodness, we had so many obstacles come against us. I remember the first run of bottles. We got a pallet delivered to one of our houses. And I saw the guys' faces as they're pulling it off the pallet. And they were so excited. It had become a reality. This is happening. And they're so excited. And then all of a sudden, I saw their faces just drop. I'm like, what is going on? I have a look. The bottles had their labels squished up all around us. We had to call a national distributor. And he only takes on big brands, but had decided to give us a chance. We called him, told him the situation. And he said, do you realise you're asking me to do a national recall? We're like, yes. Do you realise that it destroys big brands? Yes. Do you realise that you're not a big brand yet? Yeah, we realise that. And he said, do you realise that I don't give second chances? But I will this time. And lucky for us, he also gave us a third chance and a fourth chance because this kind of thing just kept going on. We had gotten 350 customers around the country. We thought we were finally starting to take off. Then all of a sudden, our factory stopped producing for weeks on end. It lost us 300 of those 350 customers. There were moments like this where we were just like, do we just give up now? Do we just high-five one another and go, yeah, we built a well, good on us, and go and do jobs that are far less sacrificing? But the thing is we believed in this idea. We didn't just want to help a family receive water for the rest of their lives. We wanted to help a community, to be able to help tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and one day millions of people receive water for the rest of their lives. It took us 3 years before we celebrated selling our millionth bottle. Only 9 months later, we celebrated selling our 3 millionth bottle. And only 2 months after that, we celebrated our 4th millionth bottle. By the end of this year, we would have been able to help 18,000 people receive water for the rest of their lives. And by this time next year, we would have, our forecasts show that we're able to help 100,000 people receive water for the rest of their lives. Now, the reason I tell you this story isn't for you to go, well, that's good for her, good on them. The reason I tell you this story is to show you what happened when we decided to push through, we make those sacrifices. We could have given up way back when we had gone down to 50 customers again and just called it quits then. But we decided to push through, to sacrifice. And we're seeing those results come about now. Now, going back to you, to the ideas that you want to see changed. Everyone wants to see change in this room in one way or another. My question to you today is, what are you willing to change? Because a wise man once told me, no change, no change. Thank you.